game. Okay, hang on. This might be good. It's no, no. It's up to you. So, were you planning on going into the store or doing it online?
Oh, I mean, what else really?
So, Game sent me an email saying limited stock coming launch day online only.
Carry on.
So you have to do it online on the game website.
In that case, then you're not going to get it for another few days anyway, are you?
This might be the bad bit. So it says stock will be delivered to you by the 18th of December.
Holy shit!
So if you haven't pre-ordered, you're gonna get it sometime between the 10th of November and the 18th of December.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'm gonna get mine sooner or later because I've been able to pre-order it. I'm not sure what to do. I'm still because the money still hasn't come out of my account yet, so I still don't really know what to do. I'm worried now that we're not gonna fucking see it for ages.
So Jay, this comes after. So last night you called me
I
and
did.
you're
I
like,
freaked
Nick,
out.
I've got big news, and I was like, have you got an Xbox? You're like, I got an Xbox. Without going too into it, it sounds like you basically refreshed the game page. That is
Yeah.
Game the retailer, and you got through somehow, got it to basket, and then you checked out.
Yeah.
Basically.
It happened on two websites. It happened on the Microsoft website and it happened on the game website. So it seems like they're sort of like releasing them slowly, like one every 20, 30 minutes, and you've just got to be lucky to be the one person who's able to buy it.
But the Microsoft one glitched out on you and me.
It did. It glitched out on me twice, but I want to say that was more because I just didn't do it quick enough.
Okay.
I don't know. Hard to say.
Well, anyway, that's great news for you that you've got a pre-order.
Yeah, I mean, my it does say 48 hours, so I'm hoping to get it between the 10th and the 12th. That's my goal.
So the email they sent you is saying you'll get it within 2 days of the launch day.
I mean, it says it doesn't say that specifically. It just says Royal Mail 48, which means within 48 hours.
Okay, so we need to talk about this. So two things.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I remember the two things. It sounds like there isn't going to be enough Xboxes and PlayStations.
I mean, it says like, yeah, the PlayStation thing is even worse. I heard something about that. That is, if you haven't pre-ordered one, you're not going to be able to buy one until well after a launch day. Like, they're not restocking PlayStation 5s, they're only restocking Xboxes.
Jeez.
Which kind of makes me glad that I've gone with the Xbox route.
Yes.
And it's
agreed.
weird, the more I keep watching stuff on Xbox, like IGN have been slowly rolling out videos to do with like comparisons, and the more I keep watching, I'm like, thank God I'm buying an Xbox, because this PlayStation just looks so much worse in comparison.
Yeah, so
Weird.
Both review embargoes have gone up, Jay. I think Xbox went up 2 days ago and PlayStation's went up today.
Yeah.
And at least from IGN, they both got the same score.
Yeah, both got an 8, yeah.
Now, I'm not sure about that one, Jay, because...
No, I was thinking they were going to give it a 7.
Well, I didn't read or listen to any of it. I want to know the score to get a rough idea. But, I mean, even just by the size, when they put up the comparison of PS5 versus every other PlayStation, I was like, what were they thinking?
Yeah, it's so big. I think it might actually be worth waiting until the next generation of PS5 comes out. Because it's probably going to be smaller, and it's probably going to be cheaper. I don't know. Or at least somewhere around, like maybe like 50 quid cheaper or something. I don't know.
I would say yes, absolutely to that, but I'm not sure whether I can wait for Horizon.
Yeah, I can't either. I'm going to want to be playing Spider-Man and Godfall fairly quickly, so I'm probably looking at starting to get mine. Probably like, we'll say Q1 2021.
Yeah, sure. And
like January sales or something.
Miles Morales review embargo up today, Jay. With the PlayStation.
I haven't actually looked at that. I want to save that until later.
Okay.
Like, I don't know the review or anything.
Okay, I won't say it.
I want to save that.
Yeah,
I've already seen something. I saw like an 86 on Metacritic. So it's either an 8 or a 9, you know.
A lot of the PlayStation stuff went live at the same time, so they had like the headset go live, a couple of the launch games, and all that sort of stuff. So that all came out. It looks like their headset is quite good, which surprises me because I never think about buying like this is the official Xbox launch headset or PlayStation because they've got a 3D headset thing.
Yeah, so this new Xbox controller, I'm probably going to be able to use this headset with it, aren't I? Hopefully. Because I don't think this Xbox comes with its own headset. Because the PlayStation 4 came with technically its own headset, didn't it?
Yeah, well, headphones.
Yeah, like little tiny thing.
If you don't, I think I've got a backup for you.
Okay, well, we'll see. If not, I mean, I've got money to spend now, so I've still got some money in my. I saved up £1,000 over the last year specifically for my TV and my console and the games I want to get with it, and I've almost spent it all, so I've still got a little bit left.
We'll see. I'm not sure is the answer. I'm not sure.
Okay, I won't worry about it. We'll figure it out near the time.
Yeah,
I'm more worried about wanting to do it for when we play Destiny, so like sometime next year.
Yeah, don't worry about that. We'll sort it. There's no rush on that. So that all went live. Blah blah blah. Do you know what's annoying me, Jay? As someone who hasn't got one yet or whatever, there's just constantly tweets from both parties just being like, "Only 6 days left." I'm like, who are these for? Are they for all the media people who have already got one? Are they for the
it's
customers
confusing,
that
isn't
aren't
it?
getting one day
I
one?
will say there are some customers who have already got theirs.
Are you sure?
I've seen a few tweets of like one or two like normal people who are like, "Oh, look what came today."
I don't believe that.
I think so. The Microsoft website said if you had pre-ordered early enough, you were able to get one today. Specifically November 6th.
I need some confirmation on that. I need some confirmation on that.
I mean, I don't know. I'll have to go back and have a look, but
I'd be a bit surprised. But
Me
if
too.
that's the case, are they just whacking them out?
I think, honestly, I'm kind of like, I reckon that probably is the thing. You would rather get them out now so that on release day it's less of a hassle.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
Like, at least get out like 100,000, 200,000 now so that on release day the next million are slightly easier to pass around.
They haven't even got 100,000 by the looks of things. I mean,
it's hard to say because the PS5 has got more pre-orders in the last 12 weeks than they had done in the first 12 months of the PS4, right?
Is that right?
That's what I've seen, yeah. So there's more pre-orders now for this than there was for 12 months of PS4 sales.
I thought it was just more pre-orders than the PS4.
I don't know.
Okay.
It could just be me not reading the headline properly the other day.
Well, whatever it is, it's a lot.
Yeah, so basically what they're saying is that PS5 is already doing better than the PS4 in terms of pre-orders, I guess.
Yeah. And it doesn't help that everyone's in lockdown, so they want to game more, which doesn't help.
One thing I did quite like is a lot of these reviewers, they've all said that the Xbox is better than the PS5. In terms of power, they're like, well, it's clearly better. Like, it just clearly is. So, yeah, I'm kind of glad about that too. That's
good. Yeah, this marketing, Jay, we had a conversation while I was waiting at the chip shop.
Yeah.
And we were like, I think this is after you got your Xbox. Or was it when you said you got it? I can't remember, but anyway.
Yeah, I think I got it, and I don't know.
Yeah, we were discussing stuff, and then we were like, are these consoles going to be available for the first 3 months, right? What is going on? Are they really going to be here? And then I brought up the point, why would they keep marketing these things if they're not available?
That's very true.
Why would they market them? Why bother? Why waste the money? If they're all sold out, why waste the money? And then, you kind of agreed, and that is the only sign that I have that there may be some more consoles in the pipeline than we might think, but that's about it. What do you think?
I've definitely seen a lot more Xbox marketing than I have PlayStation, which this headline with them not being available on release day kind of makes sense now, because it kind of sounds like they're worried. I reckon they're doing a similar thing like they did with, I don't know, maybe it's because it's obviously like Sony in Japan and it's like far away. But they always seem to do like different days for their release days, don't they? Whereas Xbox is always the same day because they're a bit more central to the globe, I guess. So I reckon that's probably why. They're probably just saying that just so that if there is any worry, they can actually take the time to correct things. Versus if there's any sort of worry on the Xbox side, they can't really, nothing to fall back on. They've been like, oh, we did say this day, but we didn't really mean it, kind of thing. So at least, Sony are giving themselves a bit of leeway there, I guess. Not sure, but again, like hearing this December 18th thing, like scares the hell out of me, honestly. Like that's too long. It doesn't take almost 40 odd days to get a console to my house. Like that doesn't take that long.
Jay, they're clearly still manufacturing them.
I guess so. Yeah, they must be like trying to pump them out, basically.
They are. That I wouldn't be surprised if that 40 days was, start of manufacturing to delivery.
Probably, yeah, because it says 42 days on the game website, so 42 days until it's supposedly, because it almost what it did was on the actual game website, it changed the release day from the 10th of November to the 18th of December. Like it's basically like a second launch.
Right.
So I reckon all the ones that have been pre-ordered now are like the first manufacturing wave, and then the second manufacturing wave doesn't actually get released until the 18th. Even if you pre-order one on the 10th, you're not actually it's not being made yet. If that makes sense.
I don't like how Microsoft or Xbox and PlayStation are handling this, Jay, because they're letting the retailers take the blunt as well. Like,
yeah, it's a bit of both. I've seen both. Yeah,
we're not going to say anything in terms of we're just going to get the hype up for a console that no one can buy, and we're going to let the retailers tell you all how it's not going to come to your door, even if you pre-ordered it. It's an absolute mess. It's a disgrace.
Yeah, the Xbox Twitter social guy or girl is having a bit of a stressful day or a couple of weeks, I guess. Like they're really taking the brunt of a lot of this, anger, I guess, which makes sense,
Yeah.
If you're going to say something's going to when we had this conversation last time, if you say it's going to be released on a day, I expect it to have it on that day. I don't care. Improve your bloody manufacturing process. Like, get it done.
Yeah.
They've had months to sort it out.
Or release it next year when everyone can get one, whoever wants one.
I guess that's probably why they're saying not until the middle of December now. I reckon they're probably saying that too because it's obviously closer to Christmas, so they're almost guaranteed to have a lot of people want to buy it around that time.
Definitely. Well, to be fair, mate, I think people are buying for Christmas now.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I reckon everyone who's probably going to buy one on release day is probably more likely to be buying it for their kid for a Christmas present.
Well, I don't know about majority. I think
not majority, just like a lot of, like a good chunk.
Probably. Oh man, yeah, that's not good, is it? I'm just now thinking in my head, mate. I'm just thinking of what I could possibly do to fill the time.
I mean,
God.
Just because they say you might not get it until the 18th doesn't mean you won't get it before. I think it literally is like the sooner you buy it on the 10th, the sooner you'll get it. I think is the point. Like the quicker you are, the more likely you are to be on the list of people to get it in order. Like it's almost like your order number is obviously like in a list, like a line of people. So the sooner you do it on the 10th, the sooner you get it, maybe.
So, sorry, did they say that any more stock coming will only be online?
Only on games specifically. So Amazon might be different. But obviously Amazon is online, so it makes sense. But for games specifically, you cannot go into the store and buy one on the 10th. You can't. Not available. Only online.
Oh my God, that's so bad. Well, don't you think they would have liked to spread their customers out? And
well, this is the thing. The reason they're doing that is because all the people that are pre-ordered and are collecting in store, they don't want the people who are collecting and the people who still want to buy one coming in at the same time.
Right.
So the people who want to buy one are now not in the store, cluttering up the place of people who have already bought theirs, and they're just going to stay at home and buy it from there instead. I think that's the idea, which is actually pretty smart.
Yeah.
I'd rather do it online anyway. I don't want to go out and buy one. It's stupid. Thing is, even if you bought one in store, you wouldn't get it that day.
Yeah, well, my hope was that I could. But
yeah, I think that was probably the hope, I imagine. Yeah, but I still don't think it would have been possible because obviously the ones they'd have in store would only be for people who had already pre-ordered. I think that was the point. I think the stock is just like in a warehouse somewhere rather than actually in the store.
Yeah, it sounds like they're sending a very specific number to each store.
Yeah, probably like another, I don't know, like if we say game specifically, maybe like another 100,000. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
That sounds like too much, but I don't know. I don't know the numbers. It's so hard to judge. How much more are being sent over. They might even be sending over like 10,000 a day for 10 days in a row or something.
Yeah.
And if you don't get one on the 10th, maybe you try again on the 11th, and the next 10,000 are available, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess we'll see what happens. I'll obviously be more bothered by when the 10th rolls around.
Oh, I'm gonna be, pissed.
But I'm also kind of thinking, am I going to know any, or are we going to know any information by launch day in terms of availability? I feel beyond in the dark. I feel I'm in a hole 50 foot underground, and they're shoveling soil over my head, and I'm like, where am I? Where am I? And they're just shoveling soil.
I still don't know. Even if you do manage to pre-order one between now and the 10th, that you're able to get it sooner rather than later. I still don't know. So it might not even be. I ain't got a clue. I think I'm more worried about it, like me not getting the email saying it's been dispatched on the 10th or the 11th or the 12th. If within those 48 hours it doesn't say dispatch, then I'm going to be worried.
Sure.
Because I'm like, okay, now what's happening? I don't get this. I'm going to have to email them and say what's going on.
And you pre-ordered Valhalla, didn't you, on the Microsoft Store?
I did, so I've done it digitally to make sure that I don't have to worry about a disc coming. I don't want the delay. I want as soon as the console gets here, the game starts. That is the plan.
Well, you got to install it, right?
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, I don't want to have to wait another day for the disc to arrive, kind of thing.
Oh, sure. Was it a download code from game? Or?
No, so I went on the Microsoft website and just bought the pre-order, and then it says, well, as soon as you boot up your Xbox, you can install it.
Did you get the season pass?
Yeah, I got the Ultimate Edition, whatever that one was.
Do you get that just for value for money?
I think...
Or are you still just a sucker?
Yeah, I think so. The season pass aspect of it was the money, and then all the extra stuff was just because it's just nice to have.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm not going to be spending any more money until closer to from about a month from now, so... And I'm still expecting some more money to come, so... I don't know, I can afford it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna I'm only gonna be buying potentially 3 games this year, and Dirt 5 is gonna be that third game potentially, and I might not even do it this year.
So you're still not sure about Dirt 5?
I mean, at the minute, I haven't. So I'll mention this is like, if I'm excited about playing a game, I'll wait until right before the game comes out to research the game. And I didn't do that with Dirt because I wanted to do that with Valhalla and Cyberpunk before I even attempted it. Which I actually done that today. I did the Valhalla research day today, so I've sort of gained some information to get my mind ready for it. Whether I'm early or not, I don't know.
You must be getting quite hyped when you do these research days.
Yes, today specifically there was a stream on a little while ago on IGN called Odin's Hootenanny.
Okay.
Did you hear about this?
No.
It was an hour and a quarter live stream of some, I guess, somewhat known British people. You know the guy who plays Sean in the Assassin's Creed games?
Yeah.
He's with Desmond, everybody. Yeah, so the voice actor of him was the host of this hour-long show, and they did these Valhalla Viking style mini games, I guess, axe throwing and stuff.
Right. Okay.
It was just a little fun time, just to show off the game and show off aspects of Viking stuff. So
yeah.
It's quite good if you want to watch it. There's not too much of a spoiler aspect to it, so it's quite fun.
I am getting a little bit sick, Jay, of myself, as I often tell you.
Yeah, I think I know what you're going to say. Go on.
Yeah, I'm I genuinely don't want to see anything with Cyberpunk because I caught half a screenshot the other day, which is fine, and I was like, "Oh my god, this game looks incredible."
Yeah, I'm not too fussed about seeing that stuff though. I've bought the book, for God's sake. I've read the history of the game. I'm already extremely invested,
My point is that I think I'm going to have to consciously say that some games I'm going to check out before I buy them, even if I want to play them, kind of thing. Maybe Valhalla should be one of those games where I do have a day of watching the trailers and stuff.
What
do you
I did
know
today.
what I mean?
Yeah, I did it a little while ago. It's quite good to do that.
I kind of miss the hype and stuff,
Yeah, I'm a bit worried I've done it too early. I'm hyped today. I'm not going to be able to maintain it until I get the game. But I don't know. From what I've seen, I think I'm going to be able to maintain it. Definitely. Okay, I saw some new stuff today, and I was like, okay, this is good.
Does it look next gen?
I mean, they were showing off 4K stuff, so yeah, to me it does. Yeah, draw distance and stuff was insane.
How's the TV, mate?
TV's good. It's still good. The only thing I've got to worry about is an earthquake. And I don't think we're getting one of those too soon because it's still sitting on top of a game box because the TV is too wide for my desk that it's sitting on. So
Ain't got any games for your game box.
No.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll wait and see.
You could always put your PS5 on it, mate. Fucking, that's shot it through the roof.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that 5 out now?
Yeah, it came out technically today, but it's been out for 3 days. If you pre-ordered it, it's been out for 3 days already.
What's the? I don't even know if I saw the reviews. What's the
No, I don't think I've seen them either. I'm gonna someday in the future, I'll spend a day being like, right, what's this game about? Is this worth my time? And if it is, then I'll get it. And if it isn't, then I won't bother.
So you're not sure at all on... I'm just going to look it up quickly because I am just curious.
It's kind of like a 70-30 type thing. Like there's still some doubt in my mind because Dirt 4 wasn't that good and Dirt 3 wasn't that good in comparison to Dirt 2. So if it's anything closer to Dirt 2 than the other two, then I'll probably be happy with it. I'll watch. I mean, I've seen some gameplay just because it's kind of hard not to see any. But I haven't invested my time into it as much as I would like to yet. So.
What would be the cutoff point for you in terms of if you're doing research?
Yeah.
And people were like, it's well, I wasn't gonna say 5 because then no one's gonna say 5. It's a 6.
Oh God.
Would you be like, I'm not gonna bother?
Yeah, I'd be kind of worried if it was a 6. I'd probably if it was a 7, I'd be like, okay, I get it. Like anything less than that, I'd probably be worried.
What about if it was a 9? Would you be like, there's no way it's that good?
I'd be suspicious, yeah.
Okay.
Like 7, 8 is like, okay, that makes sense. 6 is like, this shouldn't be happening, and 9 is probably like, well, what's changed to make it this good? Like that kind of level of, comparing stuff, I guess.
But just the last thing on the consoles, mate. You know, I'm just the reviews are coming up here. I genuinely, I just feel like this whole beginning of generation's been completely spoiled from this lack of supply.
Yeah, it kind of has a little bit. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
If you're not an influencer, even if you've got a pre-order, it's not guaranteed to get it day one.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it? It's like the people who. Okay, this is going to sound weird, I guess, but like people who are getting them now are usually people who need them for their career to an extent, right?
Yes,
so I follow Arix Gaming on YouTube, and he's the kind of person who needs this console to be able to give advertising for certain games. So he needs to be guaranteed it before to be able to do his job, right? So him putting in a query being like, well, can I? It kind of makes sense because they're going to get free advertising from it. Like the advertising is going to pay for his console and more kind of thing, right? So, but people like us, we're not priority. Although we kind of should be because we're the consumer. We're the ones who's going to be buying from you in the future. But obviously, they don't care about the 1 or 2 people who are pissed off they're not getting it on day one. They care more about the people who are willing to wait, and they're still going to make their money back regardless, like over the next 7 years or so. So they're not worried. They're not worried about. They're playing the long game, obviously. You know, they're not playing the short game. I think one of the things I took away from these reviews was that buying a console now is more of an investment for the future of gaming than anything else. Like you're not buying a console now because there's good games coming out. You're buying a console now because there are going to be games coming out in the next year or two, primarily.
Absolutely, and you want to get that. I want to get that lump sum cost out the way.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, you just want to start out strong and then wait later.
As I've told you, Jay, many times, there was also the desire to have a console at launch, but obviously that has been taken away from me. So
yeah, it's weird. It's kind of like. Because I actually now I think about it, I didn't get the Xbox One day one. I think I got it like a day or two after, just because like I wasn't first on the list. I guess I don't know, which actually annoyed me because there was that day one achievement that people could get, and you could only get it if you got the console on day one. And now there's these millions of people who missed out on it just because I wasn't in line, at the right time.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They went really hard on the day one.
Yeah, it was strange, wasn't it? Yeah.
Like they had day one Xbox One edition, they had day one Sunset Overdrive edition. I'm like, guys, stop, please.
Yeah, it kind of made people feel like crappy about not getting it on a certain thing. Yeah.
And so like, oh, sorry, I've got a life. Like, I don't think you should necessarily punish people, but I obviously understand that marketing, they want to drive sales. I understand that. But like you say, people feel rubbish.
The thing is, the people who got it day one were going to get it day one regardless of the marketing for it.
Yes.
So it kind of
correct.
just, if anything, they literally could have not had that day one marketing, and a lot of other people would have felt less worse about buying it in the future anyway. Like it's almost like having to just, like pressure people into get something that they know they're not going to get. So it's like, well, why even bother? If they just made their audience feel bad for themselves, it's like, what's that? So counterproductive.
It's a
Don't
great
do
point.
that. Don't
Great
do
point.
that. It's so nasty. Like, why'd you do that? It's
Well,
almost like they've got this like gentleman's club that you have to be a part of if you're special. But if you're not special, then well, screw you, I guess. Stay
is that
outside.
is that Fallout special, J? SPECIAL.
Oh, sure, yeah, sure.
This gap. So look, you've got one. Hopefully, you get
I
one
mean,
next
look, I'll
week.
let you know.
Hopefully.
You'll be the first person to know when it gets dispatched, other than me.
Sure. Let me know when you've got it as well.
Yeah.
Obviously. I don't want any photos or videos yet, if that's
No,
okay.
not gonna. I'm just gonna message you and say, yep, all good. It's on its way, or it's coming,
Yeah,
or
cool,
it's
cool,
here,
cool.
whatever.
No worries.
I don't need to. I'm not going
Um,
to show you anything. That'd be pretty pointless
no, that's cool.
because I'll be too busy trying to sort it out myself.
Well, while I suffer in the
Honestly, do you know what would be
desolate
the worst thing?
wasteland,
Is if you bought one on day one and like you got it before me.
I don't think it's
I
happening, mate.
know, but can you imagine like my luck?
Yeah,
Like I
sure,
can
sure.
see that happening. Like that's part of my repertoire of bad luck I've had in the past. Of just, yep, that is sod's law right there.
Well, yeah, but mate, look, there's no competition between
No,
us. Like,
obviously not. Like this
no,
genuinely isn't a competition. I think it's
no.
more of just like sanity more than anything else.
Yeah, well, you've obviously gotten through, so it's only fair that you get one before me, I'd say.
I mean, yeah, I tried. If you don't try, and you're just going to fail, aren't you, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, while I wait, Jay, in this wasteland before
Yes.
whenever I get an Xbox, I wanted to talk about the idea that not having that console available to you, whether that be old, new, current, and certain games not being available can sometimes be very good for you, both in a lifestyle
Yeah, yeah.
aspect, but also in terms of I'm playing games I'd never play,
Mhm. Mhm.
or I would put off playing so I can kind of focus on them. So I'll give you some examples. So I completed Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, that
Yeah, I
game I
saw
spoke to
you were
you about.
playing that. Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. There is some trophies I've got left to do, but I can't bring myself to do them because you have to
Is that
replay it.
like
And
a 10 to 12 hour long campaign type thing?
yeah, it's a walking simulator. I
That's what I
spoke to you
thought.
about it.
Yeah.
The one,
Yeah.
when
No,
everyone just
I wasn't sure because it seemed like one of those games that you would buy for like 15 quid and would last about 10 or 15 hours.
exactly
Like
that. I got
a good rule, I think I've heard this years and years ago from someone is like if you've played a game for every pound you spend on it, for every hour you spend on it, that's worth it. So if you bought a game for 60 quid and you haven't spent 60 hours on it, it wasn't worth the game. Kinda like there's some
yeah,
games that
yeah,
there's
yeah,
obviously
yeah,
some
yeah.
leeway, but I think that's like a general good rule of thumb.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A general, yeah. So this is like I think it's 16 quid normally. I got it for 8 quid on sale, which I'm really happy with. Quick side note, Jay. Even though I have the income to do so, or disposable income, I still can't bring myself to buy things like the Ancient Gods Part 1 until it's on sale because it's
Hmm.
not a priority for me. I don't need to play it day one, so I'm just going to wait till it's on sale. Does that make sense? Like, I still
Yeah,
can't.
I need to learn that so bad. The amount of times I've pre-ordered a game knowing that I won't play it straight away and I'll play it in a month or 2 months,
Yeah,
3 months time, and then still haven't played it and it's now like free. I'm like,
yeah,
what was the? I've just wasted like 50 quid on a game that like if I'd waited I would have just got it for free anyway,
yeah,
or like at
exactly.
least on sale for like £10, £20 off or whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think I've learnt my lesson this year because I was obviously going to pre-order Squadrons, didn't end up doing that, so I saved myself 35 quid. Same with Dirt 5, it would save myself 70 quid in that aspect. I need to learn these things. It's just taking me too long to learn them. So
We're both on a learning exercise. We're both on
yeah,
a
I
learning
think sign
exercise.
of the times more than anything else, really, isn't it?
So I finished that. I really enjoyed that, Jay.
Hmm.
I've forgotten more of the story than I thought, and I still remembered the ending. And I just really enjoyed it. I can't explain it because it wasn't even one of those experiences. So the game's designed, Jay, so that there are rooms that you go in, like, oh, there's nothing there, blah blah blah. But I was following a guide, so it's completely different for me. So I'm just going to do it, getting the radio, listening to the radio, looking at these flashbacks type scenarios, and I just really enjoyed it. I really fancied that walking simulator experience with stories, and the voice acting is still phenomenal. The storytelling is still phenomenal because they just give you those little drops of information, and it really helps you put everything together in a jigsaw in your mind. So it's really great.
I felt like that with Firewatch. That just sounds so much like Firewatch to me. It's weird when you were saying all that stuff. It kind of reminded me of what I imagine like radio soap operas were kind of like back in the day, in like the 50s and like the 40s and the 30s and the 40s and 50s. Like, I imagine that's probably the same sort of level. Like part of the enjoyment is putting it all together in your head. Like it gives you all the pieces, but you have to kind of put it together in your own head, and that's like part of the challenge. Is like coming to an understanding yourself, because it's almost like a film or a piece of art. Everyone's gonna have a different opinion on what it means to them versus what it should mean to everybody else. So again, a piece of art. You're playing a piece of art, and I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I really did. I still love the soundtrack. I adore the soundtrack, and
good.
I loved playing a game. And I really, maybe I'm just too patriotic. I think that's the word, but
okay.
I just love games set in England, dude.
Well, that's kind of how I'm feeling about AC at the minute. I'm feeling very weirdly patriotic, even though it is the enemy in quotes. You know. It is. It's kind. It kind of is. It's like it's kind of the enemy.
Yeah,
you know?
no, definitely. Yeah,
But yeah, it kind of feels weird, like having, you know, you do feel a level of pride when it comes to playing something from where you're from, or you know, set from somewhere where you're from. So yeah, no, I understand that. Definitely.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not sure if it is a real place, the actual town and stuff, but I'm like an hour, if not less, from Shropshire. So like that's just super where it's set.
Yeah.
So that's super awesome to me, and I just love looking at the architecture and the signs and everything. It was really cool.
I imagine people who frequent London quite a lot probably quite enjoy Watch Dogs Legion.
No doubt.
Yeah, similar type thing, I imagine. Yeah.
I remember when a lot of the IGN staff and like San Francisco gaming media really enjoyed Watch Dogs 2.
Yeah, no, they hyped up like hell. Yeah, they really did. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
So then I've been also dabbling into Crash 4. I've got nothing to speak to the people about on that yet, really. No full thoughts or thoughts developed enough to share, really. So yesterday, Jay, I was really bored, so instead of reading a book like I should have done, I got the trial for PS Now. Want to try that out for the first time. In short, some games are better than others, but there is a definite lag sometimes with the response from controls if you're streaming games.
I was going to say, because it's streaming, isn't it? It's basically like playing Stadia. Like a similar type thing, I imagine.
Yeah, I just don't know. There's loads of games. There's like 700 games, by the way, which is way more than Game Pass. But I don't know why they just don't let you download all the games. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, so I don't actually know how it works. What do you mean they don't let you download all the games?
So they'll let you download, I think, every PS4 game that's available on the subscription service. They'll let you download.
Right, but everything else you have to stream.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
For the older games.
I guess that isn't a bad thing.
Well, they run max 720p, so even like I played Undead Nightmare and it didn't look that good at all.
Does the PS3 is on 1080 then, right?
Oh yeah, but it streams in 720.
Okay, I guess that's just so people don't complain about how it looks, right, or like lag or anything. Yeah, because not everybody can obviously maintain a 1080 streaming game with their potentially bad internet, but 720 is obviously slightly easier. So.
Yeah, true. I'm not sure what 1080p would require, but they could always give you
probably
the option.
Some more speed. Yeah, it'd be better if they gave you the option, almost like changing it on a video.
Exactly.
Like if there was like settings, change to 720, change to 480, whatever it was. Yeah.
Exactly.
Good, but...
So dabbled in that. By the way, Jay, not sure if you remember this one. Undead Nightmare still has that headless glitch on PS Now.
Oh, okay. That's strange.
And I had that glitch on Xbox 360. So that game is through and through completely.
Well, yeah. Broken. Once that game obviously had that glitch, they never hotfixed it. Obviously.
Correct.
Yeah. Correct. They didn't bother going back and just continued on to Red Dead 2. I imagine.
Which is disgraceful considering how much money they've got now. But
I mean, it literally probably would take one person like a day to fix it. I don't know.
Who knows? So, dabbled into that. I was heartbroken when that glitch happened, by the way, because I was like, I finally get to play it. Oh, no, the glitch has happened. Moving on. Playing Battlefront 2 with a mate, so that's been cool. I still really like that game now, to be fair. Tried a Ratchet and Clank game from PS3 that I never tried. They had a lot of weird Ratchet and Clank games at one point.
There is some in-between ones, yeah.
Yeah, they had a bit of a saturation there, but I played one of them, which I never played, called All for One, which is basically...
Yeah, I've played that.
Right. It's basically your multiplayer Ratchet and Clank game. And I actually really would like to play it with someone, but as a single player game, not great for me. What do you think?
Well,
do you remember playing it?
Very vaguely. I don't think I even had it. I think my dad had it. But yeah, I mean, it's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
I wasn't that fast because I obviously didn't buy it. So
sure. I was impressed by it. Wasn't rubbish by any stretch of the imagination. Like, there was big things happening in the background. You had some good combat, some atypical good Ratchet and Clank combat. The humor was there. Everything was there. It's just that I would really... it is very much designed. It's got that Borderlands aspect, which is, it's more fun with people, basically. Which isn't necessarily true because I play Borderlands single player, but you get what I'm saying. And then finally... I've been playing Spider-Man Ultimate Playthrough while listening to a podcast. I actually deleted that today, Jay, because I just really don't... I'm literally halfway through the campaign. I'm just not feeling it. It has not taken anything away from the game. I'm just not feeling it.
No, I did the same thing. I got about halfway through on another playthrough this year and just didn't feel like it halfway through. So
Okay.
I did the same thing. It's just because I've already played it 3 times. I was like, this is my 4th time going through it. So I thought, oh god, yeah, it felt a bit laggish after the 3rd time.
The biggest thing I'm missing at the moment, Jay, from selling my Xbox is actually Fallout 76, because
I guess,
not only do I want to play that genuinely, that is also a great podcast game to edit and to listen to. So
sure.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm ranting.
Have I ever had that before? I don't think I've ever had it where I've been in the mood for a game and not had it. For this long, at least.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, it's an interesting place to be.
Yeah, that is a weird... Because I'm usually the other way around. I'm usually, well, I've got a game and I'm not in the mood for it.
Correct. And now I'm looking at games like Bloodborne. I'm like, maybe I will dive into it.
See, this is what I like, because there's some... I don't want to say too much, but there's some Valhalla things where I'm like, if Nic had played a Souls game, would this have been more helpful?
Okay.
So,
like Fallen Order type stuff?
Has Fallen Order got a stamina bar?
Yeah.
It has it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe you might be alright then.
Or, well, it's a lightsaber bar if you want to call it that. But
yeah, I guess, yeah.
Like a deflection bar.
Sure.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does, yeah.
Well, maybe you'll be alright then. Oh yeah, didn't Fallen Order come on Game Pass today?
Is that right, Jay?
I think so. Right? It's either today or soon. It's like coming soon.
I think you might be right.
I've definitely seen that it's coming, whether it's today or not, I don't know.
Oh, it's joining Xbox Game Pass Ultimate because it's going to EA Play when that happens.
Oh, okay.
So Fallen Order is going to EA Play on November 10th, and on November 10th, that's when EA Play becomes part of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate.
There we go. Yep, so in the next 4 days, it's going to be available on Game Pass.
Are you still... well, you have no need to get Game Pass yet, do you?
Really? No, I'm not going to get it until we play Destiny.
Yeah, okay, fine.
That's the plan. At least I don't think so. I might just get like a 3-month one at the start of the year, and then hopefully by end of March we'll have played Destiny.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Alright, Jay. Let's go over to the news. You've got some stuff I'd love for you to talk about. Can we start with Anthem? Because I would like for you to tell me. So this comes from BioWare's blog by Christian Daly, studio director, and they're talking about Anthem, are they? Do you want to give me a load? Because I haven't read it.
Yeah, so they're still working on Anthem right now. They're still trying to make it the better game, Anthem 2.0, if you will. And they've just been showing off like what they've done to change the game, basically, like what they've done to improve it, like the UI essentially, like the skills and everything. Like they just made it into pretty much as like a new game, just with the same stuff that was in it before. And it looks quite good. I'm kind of impressed, honestly, from what I've seen.
Is it like they've made quite a lot of progress?
I mean, it looks different, you know. And different doesn't always mean good. It just means different. So Until I have bought the game, obviously, so I'll be able to tell if it's any good or not. I can't imagine they'll re-release this game and make you buy it again if you've already bought it. They could do that, but that would be very bad marketing for them. So if you've already bought the game, it should just be an update. It should be like a free update, and then boop, I got the game again. Because it's still playable, the servers are still up. So yeah, well, we'll see, won't we? What happens with because I think they're basically just like modding it essentially to make it into this new game. Hopefully it'll work and be a better game. Because again, it is just like that, and Avengers are very similar in how they play. So, as there's more news on the Avengers front. There's been some more like stuff that isn't working and they're having to fix all the time. So,
is the DLC still delayed till whenever? Or...
Next year, yeah. Actually, that was supposed to be out already. That was supposed to be out a couple of days ago. But yeah, been delayed till next year, I think.
So what's going on with the problems and stuff?
No, there's just like a few cosmetic things that didn't quite work, so they've had to like rework them or something.
Okay, right.
Other than that, not really much. It's, again, still at like 1,000 bloody players. It's really bad. Yeah, so bad.
I just want to say quickly, Jay, that I think us talking about games will hopefully broaden the conversation around video games and certain topics and news stories, you know?
What do you mean?
I hope that our enlightened opinions, I'll call them,
okay,
controversial opinions, whatever you want to call them, our perspectives being unique and different. I mean, that might not be true, but it is. I think them being published to the world will hopefully create a broader, more open conversation about cosmetics, about the Avengers launch, about microtransactions, about Xbox launch. Like, I just think...
So what you mean is you're not hearing a lot of these major game journalism people talking the way we are?
Yes.
I feel like I kind of am, but yeah, I see what you mean. Like, they're not, maybe not. That's because they have to kind of answer to an editor, right? Like, the things they say are somewhat censored. Like, there's certain things they can and can't say because they're either sponsored by a company, or they have to answer to advertisers or whatever, and big wigs, fat cats, whatever you want to call them. They've got a boss. They've got someone who they have to answer to, and we don't. At the minute, there's no limit to what we can say. Not really. So. Yeah, I agree with you to some degree. So what you mean is that we're going to somewhat influence how it should. Like, if we talk, like, I guess this is like weirdly political. Like, the more you speak about certain things, the more they can be openly spoken about elsewhere.
That is
like,
true.
It becomes the norm, I think is what you mean, right?
Yeah.
More socially
acceptable. On a tangent and changing the topic. Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah, and what I mean is, which media outlet is going, what's going on with this launch? None of them, because they've all got consoles.
Oh, you mean what's going on with the pre-orders and everything? Yeah.
As an example.
All they're doing is they're putting out articles that just say this is happening, but they're not necessarily giving an opinion on how they feel about it, because they're not the ones who are being affected by it.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's kind of how everyone is, right? Like, if you're not affected by lack of food and water because you don't live in a third world country, you're not really going to be that fussed about the people who are bothered by it because you're okay. It's not your problem. Similar type thing. So I guess it's some level of, like, in quotes, privilege, but I don't really agree with that, not really.
Yeah. Sorry for that. Anyway.
No, it's fine. It seems like you're really in the feels about this kind of stuff. Because you're obviously being affected by it. We all are, really. Anyone who doesn't, work at these kind of places is going to be affected by it. I think in the long run, a lot of it just comes down to patience too, right? Like, for me, I'm kind of like spending the rest of this year to kind of just have fun with the console. Starting next year, I kind of want to like get back into working and not having to worry about it so much. So I don't really want to wait. I kind of want to, my time is limited to an extent. Whereas you're obviously you're still working. So, but for you, I imagine it's like you have a limited amount of time during the day anyway. So you'd rather have it sooner than later. So it's the same issue, just coming from different sides of the same argument. So yeah, we're both annoyed by it. I can understand. But yes, I see why it'd be annoying that people who aren't affected by it don't seem to be phased. Not really. It's just the way the world works, I guess. Not much we can do about it right now.
All right. So tell me about this Genshin update, mate. Is this different to the
yeah,
update
still coming. We're getting
about?
every day. No, still. Oh, yeah. So this is different. Yeah. So let's have a look. So they said about that the plans for the future of the game. It seems like it's gonna have quite a long yearly, or at least 2 yearly, lengthy story. Like the story is actually pretty in depth. There's a good amount of lore to the game, and it seems like they're doing a similar thing to what Destiny have done, and it's they've given their audience basically like, right, we're going to spend at least a year or two fleshing out the story, and then depending on how well the game does between now and then, we might even give you more story, which is similar to what Destiny are doing because they're now releasing this new DLC. So it feels like they've just given the audience like a yearly, or even maybe like a 5 yearly plan of like, well, depending on what you guys do is all dependent on what we do.
So there's no like campaign which you can finish, or story you can finish.
I mean, technically, technically there isn't. I mean, there is, but it hasn't been released yet. Like it's almost like episodic. Like they give you a campaign up to a certain point, and then once you reach a certain level, you have to then reach another 2 levels above that to then continue to the next episode.
Okay.
And at the minute, I'm actually like at the end of the episodes, but this next update is going to be able to give you more episodes and more of the story from here on out, basically. So the higher level you are, the more you can unlock these story missions.
Are you still doing dailies?
Yeah, I'm not doing as much with the resin stuff. I'm just doing the stuff that gives you the in-game currency that allows you to pull for characters. So I'm getting, I think 90 plus. I'm getting like 160 gems a day or something.
Is that a lot?
Which is enough for one pull.
Okay.
So I'm getting 1 pull a day.
Okay.
Roughly. Which is not bad, honestly, because if you played 10 days, that's 10 pulls. And it takes up to 90 pulls to get a guaranteed 5-star. So if you play it for 3 months, you at least get a guaranteed 1 5-star.
Oh my god, 3 months is a long time, Jay.
Yeah, but that's if you spend no money. But there are other ways of getting the gems. I'm just doing the very basic way of doing it. I'm not bothering with the other ways of doing it because it takes too long.
Okay.
I'd rather I get up at like 9. I'll spend 20 minutes on the game, and then I'll come off and do whatever else I want to do the rest of the day. I could spend longer on it, but I'm not really in the mood to do that at the minute. I'd rather watch anime or whatever.
How long until you lose the motivation to do your 20 minutes?
Probably when AC comes out. I don't know. I mean, I'll probably still do it because, again, it doesn't take that long. So 20 minutes is nothing, really, when it comes to the rest of the day. I've just got to make sure that those, I use the 20 minutes wisely.
Yeah.
And quickly, efficiently. Get it out of the way so I can play AC. Because at the minute I'm not actually like waking up properly until like way past 9 a.m. So my plan is to get up at like 7:30, 8 a.m. and then start from there once AC comes out, and then I'll be able to spend 10 hours a day on it.
Yeah, hell yeah! And that came from Calsham. That article was by IGN.
It just says IGN staff. That's funny. Yeah, there's been so much leaks for this new version update. So,
mate, I was so fascinated by this next news story because I asked you the very question of how are they going to get past, like, firstly the physical barrier, but to the legal barrier. But it looks like they haven't. So
no, they haven't. No, unfortunately.
This comes from they made a statement to IGN written up by Matt TM Kim. But please continue, Jay.
Yeah, so there's a company who had the bright idea of making unofficial plates that you could change for your PS5, because one of the problems that I had with it was that it's just plain white and it's boring. And then I kind of like later on figured out that it was probably more to do with the heat issue than anything else. But yeah, I saw this and thought, wow, this is actually a really good idea. And if they were partnered with PlayStation, they'd probably make quite a lot of money out of it. But PlayStation saw it and quite quickly went, well, we're not even going to attempt to partner with you. We're just going to say, stop what you're doing. And which probably means that they're probably going to want to do it themselves in the future. It's probably why. It's probably because they've already got this idea for the future, and these guys, but he got there before them. So it's kind of Sony's own fault, really, isn't it? Like if they had said from the get-go, "Oh, we're also releasing plates that you can interchange," just like, like they'd be making bank on those right now. Yeah, you can imagine the amount of people. Like, let's imagine let's say 1 million people pre-ordered the PlayStation, and of those 1,500,000 of them wanted to buy a plate, and each plate was going for 30 quid. Like that's 30 times. That's like 15 million right there. Like you're making your money. What they lost from potential sales of Xbox doing better, they've now gained in plate sales. It's like, they're clearly not thinking very business savvy right now. They're
Yeah,
just they're just
it's
like
literally
seeing
an
these people as the
independent,
enemy.
literally an independent business who supplied a product for a demand that was there that
Yeah, and
Sony didn't
Sony just
capitalize
didn't.
on.
Yeah, they didn't bank on at all. It's like, oh god, so dumb from their end. Honestly, they should have done something about it like ages ago.
Yeah,
Not
it's
having the
sad.
forethought for that is obviously very stupid on their part.
Yeah, it's sad, really. So does that mean that none of them are going out then?
Nope. So basically, Sony have put like a cease and desist, which basically means that the
Whoa.
company now doesn't exist. Basically, you are not
Oh,
allowed to buy from these people. The website is down, and all the people who ordered one already have been refunded.
told. Right. Oh
Yeah,
man.
bit of a
Well,
bummer, but there we
Sony.
go.
I mean, just.
Yeah, sort your life out, mate. All right, come on, Sony, you can do better than
Uh,
this.
every time I have a good clean of the flat, I'm telling people that I just need to sort my life out. You know, when you just need to get back on top of things. You know.
Yeah, I kind of do that. I mean, actually, weirdly, you know what I have been doing? This is
Go on.
somewhat game related. It's board game related,
Oh yeah.
or card game related. My Magic cards, like I have a lot of like singles that are in boxes from like the years of me, the decade long of me playing the game and collecting the cards. And I thought I'd just spend the last 2 days like putting them in order of like
Oh,
color
fabulous.
and like however many number of each card I've got. So if I've got like 4 of one and 3 of one and 2 of one, I'll put them in the right order. I didn't put them in like alphabetical, but they're all in the right color order at least. So just been doing that because I'm doing that with like a podcast in the background, just to
Exactly.
have the time. I'm usually watching the election results at the same time, so something to do, something to
Yeah.
get the time out of the way and get the 10th here already.
Yeah. I
That's the
started
plan.
listening to that Alex Jones, Joe Rogan podcast.
Podcast, the 3 hour and 11 minute one.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
far are you in?
Oh, I gave up. I turned it off after about 2 hours.
Oh wow, you made it further than I thought. I thought you'd only get about 45 minutes in.
Oh no, I find it really entertaining. It's just that when he started drinking, I just got a little bit kind
Yeah,
of
I
like
will say once he got
disinterested.
drunk, it started to get worse. Like he just started to turn. That's one of my fears with drinking. Like obviously I don't drink, right? But one of my fears of drinking is just becoming a fool of myself, like making an absolute. And he did.
Yeah.
He made an absolute fool of himself.
Sure, sure.
He became very like he pressured Joe, even though Joe was trying to like be sober that month. It just didn't. It
Yeah,
didn't seem right.
yeah.
It seemed very like he was almost like overstaying his welcome, almost.
I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure, you know.
Yeah, Joe understands what the kind of person he is, and I don't think he meant
Yeah,
to come across like that. But he just because he got drunk, he did. So it's his own fault. I will say
yeah.
the last hour is still good, so I recommend trying if you can.
Okay,
It
all
does
right.
diminish the further you go, but the first 2 hours are probably the best 2 hours, so you're probably not missing out on much. But there is a couple things he touches on in the last like half an hour that's pretty like interesting enough. So
What's it about?
I think he talks about vaccines, like anti-vaxxers and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, that is quite interesting. Yeah, I might listen to that. Okay,
It's like
fine.
the last 15 minutes or so. But because
Okay.
he's drunk, it doesn't come across as well as it probably could have done if he was sober. So
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
yeah, it seemed a bit
No, it is
meh.
really entertaining.
It's
For
massively
sure,
entertaining.
for
Yeah,
sure.
there's been quite a few guests since then actually that have been quite eye-opening.
Last one, Jay. This actually, I heard about this when Todd Howard did his interview with Xbox when they acquired them. But
Okay.
anyway, yeah, please dive in.
Right, Bethesda engine is getting its largest ever upgrade before Starfield and N6. I mean, I kind of thought this was going to happen anyway. I just didn't realize they were going to like talk about it
Okay, hold on, Jay. I
specifically.
think you did a Norwich mumble there. I didn't hear the last bit you said.
Okay,
Bethesda are
engine.
doing a massive engine upgrade for
Yes,
Starfield.
alliterate. They are, yeah, for Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6
Oh, right, okay, fine.
for
And
both.
this comes from the Brighton Digital 2020 conference thing. He did an interview for them, with them, for an hour, and he spoke about this. But yeah, he has mentioned this before,
I mean,
but
I
yeah.
kind of feels like it goes without saying, doesn't it? Like, I kind of feel like this had already happened in like Insomniac probably already did this for the Spider-Man game. Like I can imagine CD probably did this between Witcher and Cyberpunk, but there wasn't anything like it wasn't advertised, it wasn't like spoken about. Didn't really become an article necessarily.
I think this is news story because apparently everyone hates the engine.
It is honestly like when you think of Bethesda engine, you think like naff graphics
or bugs, I would say.
Yeah, buggy. Like Fallout 3 looks abysmal. Like it does. Like if you really think about it, the game looks awful. It's kind of one of those. Like to me, the Bethesda engine is like a Monet. It looks good from far away, but the closer you get, the worse it looks.
Yeah.
Like the textures are awful. They really are.
Yeah.
Like Fallout 4 was a massive improvement. Fallout 76 was a massive improvement, but it's still like very like it feels almost like Half-Life. It's very jittery. It's almost like the Valve engine. It's very similar. It feels almost like you're playing in Gary's mod. It just feels very robotic.
Yeah. I've always felt that everyone who used to hate the engine, I was like, yeah, but you're not a developer, so
What's the thing?
really,
I think
do we
the
understand?
reason. I think with the engine being that way, kind of is the reason why people like it. Like it has character. It's unique. There isn't really any other engine that's exactly like it.
Yeah, definitely.
Like
definitely.
it kind of appeals to the PC audience because of how much it is compared to Gary's mod. It feels like it's a kind of like
it's
playground.
moddable.
Yeah, it's like almost like a playground for people to play around in and mod things ridiculously.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it lends itself to be able to be buggy and be funny and be almost like the GTA kind of thing. Like it's quite like ragdoll graphics and stuff. Engines and stuff like that. Like it kind of just feels like that.
Yeah, they've always
it's just fun.
People have always said, "Oh, replace it or something," but I've always been like, "Nah, don't do that. Just fix.
Improve on it.
Do what Telltale didn't, and just fix the problems.
Yeah, just make it less buggy, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And it sounds like they're doing that or making an attempt to do that.
I guess look, if they had released Elder Scrolls 6 and it was anything like Fallout 4 or Skyrim, I would have been pissed.
Oh yeah,
like to a degree. Like it has to be different enough for it to be next gen worthy.
Jay, Elder Scrolls 6, as far as we know, is going to come in the middle of the generation, if not maybe slightly later.
2024, right? Roughly 2025.
I say 20. Let's just say 25 for argument's sake.
Yeah.
If that's the case,
I think it'll be sooner, but yeah.
that game has to look revolutionary.
I mean, yeah, it kind of has to look like what we imagine games looks like in our heads, right?
Yeah.
Like I reckon it might even be a release title for the next updated version of the Xbox Series X and the PS5.
Okay, we'll put it like this, Jay. It has to look as revolutionary as Red Dead 2 did 2 years ago.
Yeah, very true.
And it has to look better than Cyberpunk.
Or as good as, I'd say, if not.
Fine, but Cyberpunk was developed 20? Let's be generous here. Start of 2015.
Yeah, it's weird. It's one of those. It was 2013 was initially when it was like beginning story wise, and I don't think it actually probably started development until maybe a year or two later. So yeah, like they're sort of like coming from a very old line of development, aren't they?
Yeah,
and they've had to recently change a lot in the last 2 years to get ready for the next gen, which makes you think that if Bethesda starting anew because they don't want to work with old stuff and have to just improve it from there, because I think it probably takes longer and probably won't look as good if they do it that way. So yeah, I mean it's good news at the end of the day, really, isn't it? Yeah, anything about new engines is always good, and we're still waiting for the next Unreal Engine, aren't we? Like we're still waiting for that to kick off next year, so I reckon they'll probably be utilising that too.
And yeah, I like this news as well, Jay. I think you're right. I think people are always working on engines anyway, from what I
hope so.
Or gather. Yeah.
Yeah, that PS5 demo was pretty insane, wasn't it?
What I will say, Jay, is if Starfield is noticeably less buggy than their previous games, that would be a huge disappointment.
Yeah. They kind of have to have a perfect launch, really, don't they?
Yeah, they've
only got one shot at it.
Mate, Jay, Starfield has to look pretty exceptional at this point because you're going off against Cyberpunk, really.
Yeah, Cyberpunk is now the new standard, really, isn't it?
And it's not even out yet.
Like Last of Us 2, I guess you could also compare things to as well, graphically.
Well, mate, graphically.
Yeah, graphically, Last of Us 2 and Cyberpunk are like the new normal, really.
Dude, when you buy a new game, you're like, oh, is it worth the price? And then as soon as you see the graphics, you're like, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, sometimes.
You see a bang for your buck immediately,
Yeah, it's annoying when you don't. It's like, oh, I'm actually looking forward to the game, but I don't see my bang for my buck.
Yeah.
I don't see it yet. What's the appeal?
Right, Joe, we're running a little bit long, but that's okay. we've got a big topic. We've got the last generation to talk about. Now, this hasn't lined up to how I wanted because we might not get an Xbox next week, but that doesn't matter. We want to look over the most recent generation, the one just gone, PS4
Or
and
now
Xbox
going,
One.
I guess
Or
you could
now
say.
going. Will be gone in a few years'
We'll be
time, a
gone
couple of
soon.
years.
Yeah.
The generation where we're both the most conscious as gamers, as consumers, as people who are interested in the industry, both the generation where we probably dived headfirst back into gaming at some point or another, and also a generation which I was surprised about. I told you on the phone, I think this is the worst generation by a mile. Now, having looked at the games, I'm not sure that statement's right. I think there is a lot of incredible games on this generation, looking back now.
Yeah.
One thing I want to get out of the way, the Xbox One is one of the worst consoles ever designed in terms of size. It's ginormous and has a power brick. It is quiet, and I like the turn on thing, but it's ginormous. So I just want to get that out of the way. Okay? PS4 always looks pretty standard. Whatever, I'm happy with that. Move along. We might want to talk about the incremental upgrades that came this generation, Jay, which we've never really seen before. Now, tell me your thoughts on the original Xbox One, PS4, and then let's go on to the incremental upgrades of the One X and the PS4 Pro.
Yeah, I feel like of the last generation, the PS4 was like the winner, I'd say.
Oh, by a mile.
Like by a mile. Like I've played a lot more games on the PS4, which is what makes me a little bit worried about this new generation of like, is me buying Xbox the way forward or not? Because I feel like one always tends to come out on top. I'm fairly hopeful for the Xbox being that one this generation. But yeah, last generation was definitely all about the PlayStation 4. Like the Xbox kind of died for me almost immediately after I got it. I think within a year of me getting it, I think I'd played Watch Dogs 1 and Wolfenstein and been like, right, this is definitely the console for me. This makes sense. But then once all the exclusives started to come out in like 2014, 2015 for PS5, or PS4, I was like, wow, I made the wrong choice right here. And then eventually got it, and it made sense from that point on, from like what I wanted to do anyway.
Do you regret getting an Xbox?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to say. Kind of. I mean, no, because I played Assassin's Creed on my Xbox more recently. I think Xbox for me didn't really exist from the year 2015 to 2018. Like for about a 3-year period, I was just like, nope, Xbox doesn't exist right now. It's all about the PlayStation. But in the last 2 years, year and a half, 2 years, it's been nothing but that really. In terms of like having to go back and play things I missed, pretty much. I'd say probably more likely in like the last like 12 months more than a year, like year and a half or 2 years. But even so, yeah, I think it's like AC games I kind of have to play on Xbox just for consistency at this point. And I also find that AC games tend to favor Xbox when they do their promotional material. Like this stream I watched earlier was all on Xbox Series X. They just basically promoted the hell out of the Xbox Series X as well as AC. And I'm glad that is where they went with it, really, because I feel like PlayStation and AC don't really mix, not really. And that's kind of how I feel with Cyberpunk as well. So I'm glad that I'm doing both.
Yeah, for sure. I remember buying my Xbox One or getting gifted it. So for a couple of years, I didn't really buy any new games. So it was actually quite a long time, really. It was between about 2011 or 2012 and 2014.
Okay.
So basically what happened was I was doing like school and stuff, and then I started sixth form, and I failed my first year. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop gaming as much. So I just stopped buying everything new, and mainly it just made me go back to old games for a bit and stuff. That was when I really started to go through my back catalogue, or not even back catalogue, just go through games I owned and go, have I played this to full? Like, have I really gotten my money? Have I played this as much as I want to play it? So games like Fable 2, look at it and go, I haven't done the DLC for that. Get the DLC. Why don't you do the DLC for that? all of that type of mentality started around this period. By the time it was 2014, I passed my first year of A-levels, or retook first year of A-levels. And then I was like, Mum and Dad, I could really do with a bit of a reward here. Would you buy me an Xbox One for my birthday? I think at the time it was about $350 or something with Titanfall. And they were like, and Mum was just like, Nick, just get it. I was like toying and swaying. She was like, just get it. Seriously. Jesus Christ. So anyway, so I got it. And genuinely, Jay, I've never been more happy to get a games console as a gift before. Like, there's something about the timing of it and the appreciation of it where I was like, oh, I really, really, really want this new console. So I got Titanfall, I got AC4, and I still remember booting it up, seeing the original dashboard. And for the first year or 2 years, I loved it. I seriously like Titanfall is one of my favorite games of all time. Black Flag is one of my favorite Assassin's Creed, surprisingly, because when that first came out, I was looking at it like, oh, I don't even want, I'm getting sick of this. And then
Which
I
is
play
weird
it
because we like Sid Meier's Pirates a lot, don't we?
Exactly.
Yeah, it kind of literally is Sid Meier's Pirates, but the 3D playable version, like the actual free roam version.
Yeah, 20 years later. And then, but what's weird is that I think, to be fair, it was more about this isn't Creed, this isn't Assassins, you know.
I think I'm kind of worried that's how this new one's going to feel a little bit, honestly.
Well, mate, we haven't really had Assassins since I mean, even Origins is a bit of a stretch to say they're Assassins.
Yeah, Odyssey didn't feel like an Assassin's game, really, did it?
It's genuinely
strange. It's very strange. I don't mind it though. I quite like it, but I know your playstyle is more the stealthy aspect.
Yeah, for sure.
I like the going in and just hacking and slashing. I mean, I like both, but whatever.
Yeah, and I seriously loved a few those opening games, and I had Watch Dogs, which I played endlessly, even
Watch
Dogs
though I really didn't like it. They didn't need to make a second one. They really didn't. It was so good. It was revolutionary for its time. It blew my mind. It really did.
I really didn't like it, but
I loved it. I thought it was amazing.
Fair play. So yeah. So anyway, so you I remember going on the Xbox One games store and being like, I know every single game available on this console. And I love that feeling of being able to just know every game that you can possibly buy, kind of thing.
Be a part of the meta, as it were.
Exactly.
Yeah, just know the meta.
Anyway, so long story short, I buy a PS4 a couple of years ago, maybe last year or something, because I finally play all these exclusives I've never played. God of War, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Spider-Man.
Last of Us?
I played Last of Us with my brothers.
Okay.
But I hadn't played Last of Us 3. No, that's a lie. I wanted to play Last of Us again because I just fancied playing through it again and getting all the collectibles, which I didn't do before.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that reminds me, I can actually go back to Last of Us and finish something on that, actually. But anyway, and then I now, sold my Xbox One and have a PS4 still. I really didn't see the point in buying those incremental upgrades because they were a lot of money at the time. The One X and the PS4 Pro at the time they were quite tempting because they were bundled with games like Red Dead 2 and Fallout 76, which and those were before 76 came out, everyone thought it was going to be like one of the game of the years. So yeah, but never bothered because I thought, well, I'm not spending 400 quid in two.
Yeah, I didn't really have the money, so even if I wanted to, I don't think I could. Yeah, it just wasn't really in my brain. Just had no real need for it. What I had was good enough. Definitely.
Yeah. I quite like the touchpad and the things that Horizon Zero Dawn did on the controller, for instance. But the Xbox One controller is probably... I mean, I haven't got the Elite controller, but the standard controller itself is just unbelievably good. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about the controller. It's weird. Like, I think once you spend more time with it, you kind of just get more used to it. Like, I used to hate the way the PlayStation controller felt. Like, I used to absolutely hate it. But now I think, having played it for the last 5 years, I now prefer it to an extent. Sure. But then I started playing back on the Xbox again this year, and I was like, well, I don't know which one I prefer now. They both feel comfortable now, which I'm glad I've gotten to that point, because I hate having to like jump into a game and be like, oh, my hands don't feel right. I hate that feeling.
Yeah.
So it kind of puts you off what you're playing a little bit. But now I'm comfortable with both, so I'm happy I managed to get to that point.
Should we get into the games, Jay? Should we get into the games?
Yeah, do you want to start? And then I'll just add ones that you didn't say.
Yeah, I'd like to go PlayStation first, because I've got like hardly
Yeah,
any.
my PlayStation list is twice as long as my Xbox One.
Yeah, see, that's the opposite for me.
Oh, there you go.
So there we go. All right. So, for PS4, these aren't necessarily ones I've played. I'll talk through mine actually. So, I think Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy we should give a shout out to for being incredible cinematic experiences. Spider-Man, I mean, it's a fantastic game. You love it probably more than me. I really, 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 really enjoy it. Ratchet and Clank 2016 is so great. It's fun. It's more Ratchet and Clank. I'm not sure it's the epitome of the series, but it's definitely up there.
I still miss the old Ratchet and Clank, you know.
Well, dude, you should play the new one because it's just the old Ratchet and Clank.
I mean, there's a very specific feeling I got when playing the first three that I can't seem to replicate with the new ones. I don't know why. Like it almost feels like I've missed out on something somewhere. It kind of almost like left me behind. I feel like I'm not clued in.
Too much has progressed too quickly.
Yeah, it almost felt like they jumped too far ahead all of a sudden. I don't know why I feel that.
Well, maybe you need to play the PS3 ones.
Yeah, I'm just I kind of have got like a similar thing with Ratchet and Clank than with Gears. It kind of just like left my mind. I'm not really that invested too much anymore.
Okay.
I just want to like remember the past, like remember the first 2 or 3, and leave it at that.
Shadow of the Colossus remake. I'll give a shout out to that. God of War.
Still haven't played it. Still need to play it.
Horizon Zero Dawn. What an incredible world. Incredible story. And Gree, which I really has grown on me, Jay. You know, over probably 8-9 months now since I played it. It's really just grown on me. Like it is becoming for me a child of like game. You know, which really just has a great memory to it. Yeah. So Jay, please, sorry. Last was part 2.
Okay.
So yeah, Jay, do you want to take me
read off my PlayStation list?
Yeah.
Okay, Red Dead 2.
Oh, I mean,
because I played that on PlayStation, not Xbox.
Jay, what did you finish it?
No, I got to chapter 3.
You got bored?
Not necessarily bored, but I don't know. I felt like I just fell out of the mood of it at the time. I still need to go back to it. I still don't know why I haven't. I think I don't know really. It's just like one of those games that I just like. It felt like weirdly when the time I did play it, I think I only played like 30 odd hours, but it felt like I'd been playing it for 100. I don't know why. It just felt like I'd been playing it forever, but I obviously hadn't. So, you won't know this, but Persona 5. Do you know about this?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Still haven't played it all the way through. Still need to finish that. The game that made me buy a PlayStation in the first place was Bloodborne.
Yes.
Still up there. Still waiting for the remaster or the bloody sequel at this point.
Jay, mate, they've got to make a sequel. Surely they have to, right?
I mean,
this is the time.
Yeah, it'll be between now and 2025. There'll be almost guaranteed one. Resident Evil 2. I didn't actually buy this, but I watched it and I really enjoyed the playthrough. Thought it was very fun.
Super impressive game.
Probably one of the best selling and probably like biggest surprises of the last year or two, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Monster Hunter World was like such a big launch. It was insane, and I played 150 hours on that game. Absolutely loved it. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Still haven't finished it, but it isn't a Souls-like game, so it's brilliant. Nier Automata.
Yeah.
Still haven't finished it, but again, brilliant game, and it's like become part of like the anime kind of like world now. It's like a meme. It's amazing.
I would call it a cult classic of games.
Oh, it really is. It really is. Yeah, that game was massively a cult classic now. Final Fantasy VII Remake, probably one of my favorite games of all time at this point. Makes sense. Like, had probably the most fun on that game I've had in a long time. Yeah, Spider-Man, obviously. Dragon Quest XI was like a big one for me. Outer Worlds. Yeah, I did play it. Yeah. Outer Worlds, still haven't finished it, but pretty fun still. Destiny 2, played that on both, but started it on PlayStation. So,
Jade, a quick shout out while you're on Destiny. I want to give a shout out to Destiny 1 because that was the game that I bought brand new since 2011.
Uh-huh.
So like it was like I've got a new game apart from like AC4 and Titanfall. Like I've got a new game. Sorry, a new console. I'm gonna buy Destiny brand new because the game looks incredible. I remember being obsessed with the E3 gameplay trailers, and then I bought Shadow of Mordor just after that as like a brand new game. But my point was Destiny 1 at the time, so much promise. Would you look on that favorably looking back now?
Yeah, it's weird. I was
or-
going to say, yeah, I'd say I'm less than happy. I'd say
Really?
my vision of Destiny 2 is probably different than what it is.
Okay.
Like, I kind of wanted it to be much of the same thing, but it evolved into its like whole new thing.
Okay.
I'm not like unhappy with it. I'm just not like ecstatic about what they did with it. You know, it's good. It's just not where I want. I wanted it to be somewhat simpler. I
Not
feel like
quite vanilla.
they made it quite complicated to a degree. To a degree. Ni no Kuni 2. I guess that goes along with Ni no Kuni 1. Second one was really good. I mean, one that was a bit questionable for you potentially, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, I've got it on my
Still
list, but I haven't
like
played it.
amazing.
Listen, I will play it when it's free on PS Plus. I will wait you out, Sony.
Yeah, wait
no,
them out.
no.
Good idea. Kingdom Hearts 3. Still need to finish it. I'm like right. I'm literally on the last chapter. I don't know why I didn't finish it.
Did you play 2, Jay?
Yeah, I played them all.
Wow, I can't believe you haven't finished it.
I know it's annoying. I think something else came out at the time. I can't remember what it was. It might have even been Spider-Man or something.
Jay, is there a big spoiler for Kingdom Hearts 3 that would spoil it for me even? All right, I'm gonna ask you a
Not
question.
necessarily. I mean,
need-
you have to know the story of every other Kingdom Hearts to understand the third one.
Okay, everyone
To a
tune
degree.
out
To a
if you haven't
degree.
played Kingdom Hearts 3 and you want to play it for like 20 seconds. Okay, Jay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna ask you a quick question. Tune out now.
Uh,
Is Star Wars in Kingdom Hearts 3?
no, I
Okay.
don't think so. I mean, no. It's no. Pretty sure it isn't.
Okay, fine. I thought they had a secret weapon for that game. That's all.
Pirates of the Caribbean, isn't it?
No, I think I knew that. Okay. All right, no worries, mate. Please.
No Man's Sky, one of the first games I bought on PS4. Well, I actually preferred the initial edition. I haven't actually played the new one, but I remember playing the first one and quite enjoying it. Again, one of my favourite games this year, or maybe last year, Death Stranding. Blew my mind. He's now working on the next one, or the next iteration of whatever it's going to be. Whether it be in the same universe, we don't know. Another big one, Final Fantasy 15.
Oh, yes.
It'll go down in the history of the J verse, as it were.
Both Japanese and your verse, or?
I guess, yeah.
Okay, good. Double entendre.
Yeah, that's double entendre. Double entendre. Genshin, again, just amazing. Like, it's just so anime and awesome.
How would you say Genshin if you were doing a Japanese voice? Genshin!
I don't know, because it's a Chinese game.
Oh.
Yeah, weirdly, it's all based in China.
You're so racist, Nick. You're so racist.
No, I didn't actually think that was racist at all. It's just, weirdly, the Chinese and the Japanese influence each other too much that you can't actually tell most of the time. So it just makes sense. Jedi Fallen Order, played that on PS4.
Jay,
Again,
we
one
have
of the
to
better
talk about
games.
this game. We have to talk about this game.
I miss it, honestly. I kind of wish there was like a big DLC for it.
I was literally about to tell you, when I get my Series X next year, I'm going to play that update they put in it because I miss it that much.
Yeah, I'm tempted. I just might play through it and not bother with the collectibles, just like play through it again.
Yeah. I think
the collectibles took so long,
now.
Jesus.
Yeah. There's a new game plus now, I think.
Yeah, I might even do that. We'll see. Until Dawn.
Oh.
That was quite fun.
What a phenomenal game.
Fun to watch, a little bit scary to play. Trials of Mana. Do you remember me playing this? This is like one of my RPGs this year. I did 3 playthroughs in a week, and I got platinum. Dude, I was like, honestly, I didn't sleep. I hardly slept playing that game. So fun. Firewatch, again, probably one of my favourite like arcadey type games from the previous generation or this generation. You didn't play Lawbreakers, did you?
No,
I can't imagine you did. I really enjoyed it, actually. It was really fun. Because it's made by the guy who did Gears, right? I forgot his name.
Cliff Bleszinski.
Yeah, he made it. It didn't do very well, but I really enjoyed it.
Cliff Bleszinski.
Killing Floor 2.
Okay.
Surprisingly good game. It's basically like Doom, but without the extravagance. Same sort of soundtrack, very heavy soundtrack, and just like so much gore. It's insane. Amazing game. I recommend anyone play it. One that I know you've played, Strange Brigade.
I have played
Did you
Strange
play it on
Brigade.
Xbox or PlayStation?
Xbox. It was on Game Pass, actually.
Okay. Yep. Played that. That was really good. Battlefront 1 and 2.
Strange Brigade. Sorry, what was that one?
Battlefront 1 and 2. Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2.
Let's not talk about Battlefront 1, please.
I didn't mind it. It was fine. Need for Speed Heat. That was really fun. I only finished that recently within the last couple of months.
Okay.
Payday 2. I really enjoyed playing that. I played that years ago. That was really fun.
I'm glad. I was just thinking about that. Yeah. Okay, I'll make a point later, but go
on. Probably one of my top 10 games of all time. Vampire.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Amazing game.
Yes.
Warframe. Don't know if you ever played that.
I have, but not very long.
That was really fun. Initially, my dad was obsessed with it for a little while. Dead by Daylight.
He likes 3 games, doesn't he?
He does.
Dead by Day. Oh yes.
I played that when it first started to kick off, or just before it started to get popular, and then I sort of came off it after a month or two. Very fun though. A lot of good RPG elements to that. Another one of the first games I bought with the console, Order 1886.
Yes.
Very short campaign, but quite easy trophies, so that's quite fun. Warhammer Chaos Bane. There's going to be a DLC for that, I think, next year, so I'm looking forward to that. It's basically Diablo 3, but with Warhammer characters. Agents of Mayhem, which I think was made by the same people who did Saints Row, so a very similar type feel. It was basically if you mix Saints Row and Crackdown together, there was this game. And there was multiple classes you could play. It's really fun. And then lastly, Anthem, which I'm looking forward to the second one, if it does eventually come out. So that's my list of PS4 games. Right. There are a lot more, but I didn't want to include too many more because it'd take forever.
No problem. I just want to give a quick shout out to everybody who's gone to the Rapture. Just pop that in there. Yeah, quick note, Jay, before we go on to your Xbox list. This really has become the generation which has kicked off that game as a service mentality or practical aspect in terms of almost, a lot of the games that we're talking about really are still going, we're talking about the generation which has kicked off the likes of Fortnite, Apex Legends, PUBG, Rainbow Six Siege, For Honor.
It kind of guarantees longevity. I think that's the point, isn't it? It's like high risk, high reward. Like that, a game like that will either last a month and it'll make a lot of money within that month, or it'll last you 5 years and make you so much money that you don't even need to worry about anything. Like with Destiny and stuff. So it is like rolling the dice and just hoping that you land on double sixes kind of thing. It's got to be very hopeful.
Yeah, definitely. It's just, I guess it's weird, Jay, because when Destiny came out, and that was what I would consider the template for console.
100%. Everything's been compared to Destiny since then. So yeah,
and it shows obviously
and
how
it'll be the same with Cyberpunk and Last of Us and all these kind of games. It's the new normal essentially.
Yeah.
The next 7 years will manipulate and influence the next 7 years of games. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just weird to see it happen before your eyes, and then you look back at the generation and you think, whoa, all these games are they're platforms. They're all platforms.
Yeah, because Destiny was 2013 or 2014?
14.
So there you go, yes. Almost the entirety of the last generation has lasted with Destiny. Again, can you imagine, what was the last game that lasted an entire generation of consoles before Destiny? What lasted from 2009? When did the 360 come out? 2006? I can't remember what it was. 2006 till 2013. What lasted those 9 years? Maybe GTA 4? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean GTA 4 is probably a fair shout.
But it's not a game of service game.
No, you can't obviously count WoW and stuff, but you can't count COD or FIFA because they're annual. So
I mean, you could technically say COD is that just because it's the same company still.
Yeah, but
they're almost guaranteed to make money from it, and there are microtransactions. So.
That is such a good question. That really shows you just how many games are platforms now, doesn't it? When you ask that question.
Yeah, it is the new normal for gaming. It's just kind of how they make their money now because they know that they're able to do it.
Even single player games do. They are. What's interesting about Valhalla is that Ubisoft are trying to make that game a platform, even though it's single player. That is like they want so much content in that game. You're playing it for genuinely 6 months. You know.
I don't think I will be.
No, me neither.
Not on my time frame, but I'll be playing it for at least probably 2 weeks.
But they
maybe.
put systems in there to try and tempt you to play it for that long. You know.
For longer, yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're someone who works, you're definitely going to be playing it for at least a month.
Yeah, definitely. So, Jay, take me through your Xbox list then.
Okay, let's have a look. Quite a short one, I guess. Forza Horizon 4?
Yes. Is that the best Horizon game, Jay?
I mean, you know, I guess. They're all great. I just really enjoyed this one in comparison. I mean, I've played previous ones, but this is probably one of the better ones, yeah.
You like racing games, right?
I do. Again, Dirt, I'm looking forward to, but we'll have to wait and see with that whether it's going to be good.
Do you like Motorsport or any other of these weird ones like Project
No,
Cars
I tend to fancy the more arcadey type ones than the simulator ones. Yeah, arcadey ones tend to be a bit more casual. Simulator ones tend to be a bit more like you need the stick and the wheel or whatever kind of thing. Witcher 3.
Oh.
Played a little bit. That was quite fun.
I have to pause here. This game is so good. You don't even need to play Witcher 1 and 2.
No, you don't. It helps, but...
my brother's mate came round and he was showing off Witcher 3, right? And I'm like, oh, impressive, which everyone said it was. This is maybe a couple of years after it was out. He's like, it's literally the best game I've ever played. I'm like, okay.
So it still feels too intimidating for me to even touch, really.
Jay, this was
I need to get over that. I know, but
this was reliving Oblivion for me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Oblivion and Skyrim are both quite intimidating to me. I mean, Fallout 3 and 4 are still fairly intimidating to me.
You one step at a time, my friend. One step at a time.
I know, it's just difficult to do that sometimes.
Yeah, but you say intimidating. You've probably put more hours in Avengers than you would need to in Fallout bloody 4.
Exactly, yeah. I don't know. That says a lot about my brain than does everything else. My brain just it doesn't work right. It's wired differently. I guess we can name Fallout then. Fallout 4 is up there.
Jake, quickly on this one, the most underrated top RPG, surely.
Yeah, it didn't get enough of a shout when it first came out. I don't think.
People were like Fallout 3.
It did well, but I feel it was kind of overshadowed by the previous history of Fallout 3
and Witcher 3.
I don't know why, and yeah, Witcher 3 at the time too. Overwatch was a big one for me.
Sure.
So I bought the special edition. I still got the Soldier 76 statue over there. Prey. Do you ever play Prey?
I didn't.
I actually played the original one on PC, I think, which was a bad game, but okay.
Did you ever play Dishonored 2?
Did I play Dishonored 2? No, I only played the first one.
Okay.
I kind of want to go back and finish it and play the second one and third one. Borderlands 3, obviously. Guitar Hero Live. You didn't get this, did you?
No, mate. No.
I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was good. There were some good songs on there. I really enjoyed it. Wolfenstein: The New Order, first one.
Jay, New Order, Old Blood, Wolfenstein 2, these all need to be praised.
Yeah, I still need to play the second one. I'm just not in the mood for it. I really not.
Dude, the second one, I'll say it again. The second story, I believed every word that came out of every act or every character's mouth.
Good. I actually really enjoyed Old Blood. Really enjoyed it.
I'd say it's more like Old Blood than New Order.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Not in any supernatural twist or anything.
No, obviously no, but it's obviously an improvement on what the previous ones were. I mean, we already mentioned Watch Dogs, but for me that was just it's weird. I actually remember playing Watch Dogs and then going straight into Wolfenstein. Literally the same day, the credits were rolling, and I was like, right, time to open up Wolfenstein. Let's get ready. It was literally one into the other. I bought both games because they both came out the same week, which was weird.
Were we not talking on Xbox at this point, Jay? Because I definitely remember speaking to you when you were playing Wolfenstein on Xbox.
Yeah, I think...
I remember you finishing it and going, oh yeah, so you just need to play the last level to get that achievement.
It probably was that week or the week after I finished it, maybe. I don't know. But it was probably around that time. This is a big one that I'm still confused why you haven't played it. I don't know if you have. Quantum Break.
Yeah, I haven't.
It's actually kind of amazing.
Is it?
It really is. It kind of blew my mind. Like if you like time travel, then play Quantum Break. Honestly, that's basically what it's all about. It's all about time travel. Yeah. So the actors in it are from people who you'll recognise. So the main villain is Littlefinger from Game of Thrones.
Sure.
And then the protagonist is the guy who plays Iceman in the X-Men movies. So that's quite cool. So the thing that was so cool about Quantum Break is there was literally a TV show within the game. So you'd finish a mission of the game, and then you'd watch literally a 20-minute episode of the TV show that went alongside the game. So you literally it was like watching a series of a TV show mixed intertwined with a game that you were playing, and it made sense. It was really good. So the actual actors who played the actors in the game were the actual actors who were playing the TV show as well. So it was all mocapped with the same people. It's pretty amazing.
You know what? I'm just going to quickly check if it's on Game Pass because you've convinced me.
I think it is. Honestly, it's not that long of a game either. I think it's maybe like 20 hours, if that. But it's weirdly, it's actually like you can compare it more to like Control. Because when I first saw Control, I thought, is this a Quantum Break sequel? I don't get it.
Oh, of course,
I genuinely thought Control was a Quantum Break sequel when I first saw it because it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, of course, because same studio.
Well, there you go then.
Yeah, Remedy. Yeah. Why. Yeah, I think it's on Game Pass, mate.
Yeah, if it's on Game Pass, trust me, you will enjoy it.
Okay.
I kind of hope you do. It's one of those ones where I think, will Nick enjoy this? And I kind of just like hope more than anything else. It's actually quite visually appealing too. I'd say the visuals part of it is probably one of the better things about it.
I've always had a natural curiosity towards it. I think it's too innovative to not try. You've convinced me to play 100%. It. I'll be very open-minded.
It's the only time I've ever seen a game that has a TV show in the game.
Yes.
Like you literally, like as soon as you finish the mission, you press play on the episode and it just goes. Like a 20-minute episode. It's insane.
Jay, the episode pack requires 76 gigs and the game's 106 gigs.
Really? I don't remember it being that big when I played it. I think it was only like 60 gig when I played it.
Holy moly.
Yeah, they might have like...
Did you have disc?
No, digital.
Wow.
I could be wrong. It could have been that big. I just can't remember being that big.
Unless 103 includes the episodes. But anyway,
maybe.
Move on.
They might have improved the quality of the episodes. The episodes might have been a smaller quality when it first came out. They might have only been in 720 or something. Evolve was a big one for me. Still surprised you didn't play that. That was really good. Mad Max was a big one for me.
Oh my god, I'm so glad you brought up Mad Max, Jay. What an underrated game.
Yeah, really, really good. It's just like a free roam. You literally are like playing the movie. It's kind of insane.
It's great.
Steep was another good one. It was basically like playing skate but with snowboarding. Battleborn, which I know was questionable on your end, but it probably is one of my favorite arena type games I've ever played. I'm genuinely like disappointed that it's not still going. Genuinely disappointed. Thief was another good one. I think you played that, right?
Not the remake, no.
I quite enjoyed that. I played the original. That was quite fun. Bleeding Edge, obviously I spoke about that a lot at the beginning of our podcast career. Haven't played it that much since, but I enjoyed it when it first came out. Crackdown 3, a massive one. Still kind of disappointed with how it turned out. But,
disappointment.
You know, disappointing, but it came. We asked for it and it came, but it just wasn't as good.
Yeah,
this might be a weird one for you. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutants in Manhattan.
That's by Platinum Games, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, it's actually kind of fun. It was very similar. It was just like I love TMNT, so it just made sense for me. I've played a lot of the mobile games to do with that as well. And then again, one of my favourite games that is similar to Vampire, Murdered Soul Suspect.
Right.
I've played it 3 times, 100% of each time. Didn't get bored of it the entire time. Story is still fresh. It's amazing. I recommend it to anybody.
That's cool, man.
It's a good bad game. It can be buggy, but it wasn't buggy for me, so I got lucky.
Let me go through mine and then we can finish
what
up
did I miss? What did I miss?
So Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, both
never really got into it.
But
I don't know why.
Probably the best Lord of the Rings games ever made. The Nemesis system is incredible. Highly, 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 highly recommend anyone who enjoys Lord of the Rings or action games play.
Is that on Game Pass?
Shadow of War definitely was.
Okay.
You might have to check, see if it's on there.
We'll see.
Play Shadow of Mordor first. AC, Unity, Syndicate, Origins, and Odyssey.
Yeah, I missed those because I thought you'd say them. So Syndicate's still one of my favourites of all time.
After really thinking about it, Jay, and being honest with myself, I think you could argue that this generation's better than the last generation for it.
Yeah, I agree. This generation's AC games are probably a lot better than 360.
But that's crazy when you think about it, especially with all the nostalgia from 2 and Brotherhood and stuff.
I'd say on
like
nostalgia level, it's probably higher with the 360 generation.
Yes.
But in terms of actually the mechanics and how the game looks, definitely this version.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, agreed. Syndicate is highly underrated.
Syndicate is still my number one, I think.
And I really liked Unity at the time.
At the time, yeah, it's good.
Had some collection because I got to catch up with all the Borderlands with that game, and I really liked that bundle. The Insane Trilogy, Crash Bandicoot, dream come true. No more needs to be said apart from Crash 4, which I'm playing now. Spyro Reignited Trilogy, I would, arguably my favorite games ever made. Truly cannot believe that it's in the cupboard next to me. Still can't get my head around it. Genuinely, I've completed all of them, and I still can't get my head around it. I need to play that game. I need to play through all those games again. Yeah, Fallout 4, you've said. GTA 5, I kind of thought we might bring up.
I think I actually played that on 360.
Yeah, well, yeah, sure, yeah. I didn't, but yeah.
Yeah. It's weird to think that it's that old, but yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, I know.
It seems so recent.
Master Chief Collection, it is broken, the achievements are bugged, but the package itself is extraordinary.
I'm tempted to play that with you, at some point.
Jake,
because I bought it but never really played it properly.
Dude,
so I'm very tempted.
I must have played through each of those games about 6 times now. Like,
there
I'm happy to do that. Cuphead, incredible game.
Still need to play it. So bad. I'm kind of intimidated by that. I'm worried that I'm going to do badly at it.
Titanfall 1 and 2. I didn't believe people when they said 2's campaign was really good, but it is really good. And
unlikely, but yes.
Yeah, love Titanfall. Stardew Valley, give a shout out to that.
Never really understood that, but okay.
Very relaxing.
Sure.
Doom and Doom Eternal. I've already spoken about Doom Eternal recently, but if
you've actually kind of convinced me to get them. If they're on Game Pass, I might play them, honestly.
You have to play them.
The soundtrack is amazing. I've listened to the soundtrack a lot recently, actually.
I would struggle to see how you wouldn't love Doom Eternal.
I know if you knew me, you'd be like, "Why haven't we played this game yet?" It's like Dante's Inferno, like all that gore and just like demons. Yeah. I love demons and ghouls. I just love it. I absolutely love that.
Seriously,
I know. I love Quake as well. It's so up my street.
Rocket League, one of my favorite multiplayer games.
Still fun to play.
So good.
It's now free to play, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, cool.
Sunset Overdrive, really great game. Mm-hmm. One of the funniest games I've ever played, actually.
Who made that?
Insomniac.
That wasn't Insomniac, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Good.
Gears 4 and 5, more 5 probably, but I do want to give a shout out to them for making really solid games.
Uh-huh. They're good at making games, definitely.
Rise of the Tomb Raider, I still think it's one of the best games on the console or generation, whatever.
Again, I should have played that by now, but I still haven't.
No, you said that. Hellblade, an absolute must-play experience.
I would need to do that at some point too, because the second one's coming out soon, isn't it? So,
well,
that's made by Ninja Theory, same people who did what's it called? That bloody Bleeding Edge or whatever. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
They're actually hiring at the minute. Their social media team is hiring.
Okay. Metal Gear 5, Metal Gear Solid 5. Give a shout out to fans of that game.
To play that, yeah.
Joey, you've probably snubbed more fighting games because I have got Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, so I deliberately took them off because I didn't think it was worth mentioning in front of you. But I guess if you want to mention it,
I thought it'd be worth mentioning because they seem that studio who make Mortal Kombat and Injustice are just absolutely insane to make those games in like 2 years. I don't know how they do it.
They're still releasing new content for Mortal Kombat.
Incredible.
There's an update in November that's coming out at some point.
If you were like Nick, what's your most bang for your buck? I'd say Witcher 3, and then I'd say if you like fighting games, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat 11 is probably one of the better fighting games of the last decade, 100%.
Yeah.
It really is up there. It's the story is so quality. It's amazing. It is amazing. Yeah.
For your horror, for the horror fans, Resident Evil 7. Apparently
enjoyed watching it. Probably wouldn't enjoy playing it.
Agreed.
Although Village actually looks quite fun. I'm tempted. I'm very tempted.
Gang Beasts is so funny.
Yeah, I think it would be good if you played it with people again.
Definitely. Overcooked is one of the best co-op games I've ever played.
Seen it a lot, yeah.
My brother was like, "Oh, it's rubbish! It's rubbish! It's rubbish!" We played through it, completed it in one night. That's how it goes. Crash Team Racing, Child of Light is one of my favorite games of all time. I take that game very seriously.
So there's a new game coming out that's supposed to be made by the same people who did Journey, called Sky.
Yeah, it's out on Apple, on iPhone.
It's out already, is it?
Well, it's out on the App Store, I believe.
Okay, but do we know if it's coming to console?
I hope so.
Yeah, me too. I want to play that on, well, hopefully Xbox if they have it available. Yeah, that'd be good.
Me too. We will do that.
4K, let's go.
Very important game. The soundtrack's very important to me. A Plague Tale: Innocence, again, one of the most underrated adventure action, whatever you want to call it, games.
There's a lot of those, isn't there? There's a lot of sort of adventure action games that are just seem to get really well rated but aren't talked about that often.
That's why we're here, Jay.
I think that's definitely part of our job, definitely.
But you're right. There are
a lot of them.
To be fair, I don't really like the label because like every game's basically action adventure.
I just call it maybe more just like an adventure game, like that Two Brothers
Tale
game.
of Two Sons, yeah.
And then the one about the guys who are in jail and escape.
A Way Out.
Yeah, there we go.
Shout out to A Way Out. Another great co-op experience.
Yeah.
I played with my brother. Shout out.
Really emotional too.
Surprisingly emotional.
Really good story. Yeah.
I will say The Walking Dead because I played them on Xbox One.
Yeah, I played those on 360.
Oh.
Well, I played the first one. I played it when she was a little girl, not when she was older.
Yeah. They those games and that period in my life are
a very weird time of weird time.
I got
2012, 2013, whenever it was. Yeah.
Well, I got the Telltale Games collection and I played them all through the winter of 2014. And I just played it non-stop.
Yeah, I think I played that Wolf. Is it Wolf Among Us? Yeah.
Wolf Among Us, my next game.
Yeah,
probably
really
my favorite Telltale game. Just incredible game.
Really good story, definitely.
And Tales from the Borderlands as well.
Yeah, I didn't play those, but I wasn't really that fussed about those, honestly.
Oh, interesting, because it's set in Borderlands, so that is.
I know, you'd think so, but there's aspects of Borderlands that kind of bore me a little bit.
Fair enough.
And that was it for me.
And finally, Life is Strange, which is a lovely, very emotional, very.
There's a second one now, right?
Game. There is. I haven't played it, Jay, because apparently the main character is controversially not very interesting or relatable. Or basically, I spoke to my mate who I trust.
Sure.
In terms of his opinion, and he's more open than me in terms of his opinion, right? And he was like, the main character just whines constantly. So
I guess it's almost like growing pains, right? Becoming a human being.
Yeah,
I think that would probably be the relatable part of it. It's just you there's one point in your teenage life or even like young 20s life where you're going to be an asshole, and you're not going to realize that you're an asshole until you're in your late 20s, early 30s anyway. So it's kind of like relatable in that aspect, I imagine.
Yeah, and you can do that right and you can do that wrong. I think the Life is Strange one did that right, but but I haven't played it.
So is it on Game Pass?
Much. Yes, I think so.
There you go.
I think so. And also, Life.
I guess you just don't want to taint your previous feelings towards the game, right? Is that how you feel about it? You don't really want to ruin it for yourself?
No, not at all. I really wanted to play it because I played Before the Storm, which I was impressed by, which is the prequel, which makes you care about characters even though you know what's going to happen, which is crazy. And then they released something called Captain Spirit, which is like a demo for Life is Strange 2. And I was so impressed because they had polished the game, which Telltale never did when they made their sequels. But yeah, I was never blown away by the reception of Life is Strange 2, so I never played it.
No, there we go. Okay.
Now, Jay, I know you're probably really tired, so let's wrap
I'm
this
good.
up. So
I was probably thinking more you're really tired. I could go for another hour.
I'm all good, mate. I'm all good. Look, we were like,
dude, I won't start getting tired until like 1. So,
before we started, I was like, Jay, we've gone quite long last few shows. Maybe we should try and make this one an hour. And here we are. Here we are.
I mean, this is going to be the podcast before the next generation, so of course we had a lot to talk about.
That's true.
We might even have more to talk about next week. We don't know.
We might not have much to talk about next week.
Yeah, it literally could go either way. It could go so much or none at all. We don't know.
Exactly. All right.
So I forget. I know it says Jay's turn, but does that mean you're guessing or I'm guessing?
I'm guessing.
You're guessing, okay.
So last week on Guess Who's Review.
Yeah.
Guess Who's Review.
So I guessed SSX, right?
You guessed SSX on the last
and
go.
I did it for 1 point, I think. So it's 16-17 to me. So I've got 16, you've got 17.
Is that all I've got?
Yeah, you've got 17, I've got 16.
All right. And we agreed that this one's supposed to be quite hard for me because
I mean,
it's hard for you.
I didn't really bother trying to make it hard. I just put in whatever, to be honest.
Okay. All right.
Let me just have a think about what I'm going to say first.
We're having a tea break.
Hang on. Okay. Oh, fine. I'll try and make this a little bit easy and hard at the same time.
Okay. Well,
right, are you ready?
Just for those who don't know what we're playing, you'll find out. Okay. Go, Jay.
Okay. Here's the first one. There are a handful of puzzle elements in the game, though most of them boil down to trial and error over which powers to use. How was that?
It's a really good quote.
I can read it again, obviously.
It's a good quote because...
Yeah, this was supposed to be my second one, but I wanted to make it harder just a tiny bit. Because you can get it from this, but it's very difficult.
Yeah, can you read it again, please?
There are a handful of puzzle elements in the game, though most of them boil down to trial and error over which of your powers to use. So it's a game that has powers in it, I guess. And that has puzzles.
Are you sure it's powers?
Yeah.
Okay. Because now I'm thinking of the definition of powers.
Okay.
Are we talking superpowers? Are we talking more Spider-Man gadgets? Are we talking elemental powers?
No, we're talking like powers, like an ability. Something that only you and maybe a few others have.
Okay.
I mean, probably a lot of you have, but specifically you in this instance.
Have I played this game, Jay?
I hope so. I think you have. I mean, you're a fan of this, so...
Okay.
That's about all I'm going to give you for now. I'm honestly trying to think what next clue to give you. It's either this one or this one. Fuck, what do I do? Okay.
Stall anyway, because I'm struggling to think of a solid guess, which I feel good with.
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, there is a word I could put before it, but I thought that would make it too obvious if I did. So there could be something powers that would make it more obvious, but I don't want to say it.
Okay, I'll have a guess.
Yeah, go on. I would hate you if you get this straight away.
Is it Spider-Man?
No.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so that you're possible for 2 or 1. Here we go.
Jay feels more comfortable now.
a little bit. I'm actually kind of worried. All right, okay. I'll try this, and I might change my verbiage. Love that word. Depending on how you feel about this quote. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. You can grip soldiers and toss them into oncoming planes. Stab someone with a nicely tossed sword that happens to be electrified for extra coolness.
Sorry, I assume planes and sword are just not the actual words.
Not the actual thing. They're kind of like... I'm worried that if I say the actual thing, you'll know what it is.
That's fine. I just didn't expect you to replace them with random words.
I want to see if you're comfortable with that, and if I'll give you more if you think you need it.
No. I think I'll be alright with those. I just didn't expect you to use the word planes.
Well, they're not. I mean, they are planes, but they're not in the conventional sense. Don't think like modern day planes. Think futuristic planes and futuristic swords.
Okay, say the quote again.
You can grip soldiers and toss them into oncoming planes. Futuristic planes. Space planes, we could even say. We'll say space planes. Stab someone with a nicely tossed space sword that happens to be electrified for extra coolness. I say I might even toss in another word here if you're feeling it.
You know what? I will take the other word if that's okay.
Okay. You can force grip soldiers and toss them into space planes.
Oh no, Jay. Oh no. No, we shouldn't have done that.
I know I shouldn't have done that. That's what's annoying. Well, did that make it harder?
Oh no, actually, no. Don't worry, you're not. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. Now, I was gonna say Force Unleashed, but unfortunately, I'm gonna say Fallen Order.
Okay. So you're going with Fallen Order?
I am.
That's the wrong answer, sir.
Okay. Jay is so happy.
I mean, I am, but I'm annoyed because I would have liked you to have gotten 2 points, but I'm kind of glad that you're only getting 1 because it makes a tie at that point.
You should be.
Actually, no, it makes you 2 points ahead rather than 3.
I haven't guessed it yet, so.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
The game's story takes place between episodes 3 and 4.
You're a dick. Well, to be fair, that's applicable to Fallen Order, but
it is. But obviously, you already guessed the other one.
Force Unleashed
certainly is.
There we go. Cool. All right.
Yeah. So the words were going to be TIE fighters and lightsabers.
Oh, I thought you meant drones.
Space planes and space swords.
I literally didn't even think about Star Wars.
Oh, there you go. And then the first quote was supposed to be force powers, but I took the force bit out.
Oh, see, I was thinking Horizon Zero Dawn. I was thinking Infamous Second Son.
That would have been a good guess. Infamous, I guess, because it is powers. You know,
okay.
superpowers makes sense.
That's good. That's a good one, mate. That's a really good one. What do you know? What was it? IGN review or?
Yeah, I mean, I get most of these. It's either from IGN or GameSpot. Never really from anybody else.
They will remain
one of the two.
Unknown. That's a good game. Number 1, yeah, Force Unleashed.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, if it was 2, I would have given it to you anyway.
Good game.
And they're so underrated. They don't hold up as well as they should do. They don't look great.
That's true.
They're good.
But I remember we were both really hyped for Force Unleashed.
I mean, they were the best Star Wars game ever, and up until this recent stuff. So
I'm not sure about that, but I take your point.
I mean, what else was there?
KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh yeah, I guess so. I don't really count those. They're kind of like, to me, KOTOR is a PC game.
Sure.
Just because I only ever played it on PC.
Would you like to say anything else? I feel like I've.
No, I think I'm good. We're just usual, and hopefully I'll let you know about whether or not I get my bloody Xbox on time or not. Honestly, I'm terrified. I'm genuinely terrified that I'm not getting it until bloody December.
Jay, you should be less terrified than me.
I know. I'm still terrified though. Just this anxiety.
Hashtag pray for Jay. Who needs a US president?